Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Hi. Happy Wednesday, hump day. We're halfway through our week, almost the end of July, crazy. Good morning, everyone. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for saying hi over on Facebook. I can see all of you join on Instagram, not so much on Facebook, so thank you. I really appreciate it. Good morning, everybody. It's Wednesday. Good morning. Lots of you joining in today. I'm going to give you a minute. It's a beautiful day here in very sunny Arizona. Very hot. But I've got the kids outside while they still can before they start sweating profusely. And actually in Arizona, you don't sweat a ton because it's so dry. It evaporates before you can sweat. Crazy. Anyway, good morning. I am Dr. Tricia Pingel. This is your morning checkup. It is Wednesday, July 22nd. So I kind of had a pivot this morning thanks to a friend on my topic. I was originally going to talk about walnuts today, and I know that sounds like a boring topic. I know, walnuts, who wants to hear about walnuts? But part of the reason why I'm here is to help you guys education, not only in health topics, but also on nutrition. So walnuts actually is an interesting topic. However, I switched it up thanks to a friend who thought maybe the energy of the world needed something a little bit different today. So good morning, Carrie. So thanks to my friend, we're actually going to talk about gratitude today and how practicing gratitude and the power of gratitude can not only improve your life, but can reduce stress and improve your health long term. Because I think most of us know by now that our mind and our body are connected. And our emotions lead our body. So you can actually will yourself sick. You can actually make things worse by not taking a moment to appreciate the world and what you have and the little things in your life. So I want to talk about it. What I'm going to talk about today is not only how to practice gratitude and start working at that, but also what are those main negative thought patterns we get stuck in. Because we're all guilty of it. We are all guilty of it. We all have that day where we're just negative Nancy, right? Sorry to all the Nancys out there. There's plenty positive Nancys out there. I know that, but we all have that, right? And we all fall into these traps. And unfortunately, that can drastically impact your health. You guys agree? I mean, it can really, really impact your health. And look, I know that you guys, because I feel this, okay? So I know that there are days that you feel unmotivated, overwhelmed, exhausted, just kind of over it, right? Just kind of okay, I don't want to deal with this anymore, right? Those types of things. We all get that. You're not alone. I mean, we all have bad days. We all have things happen to us that trigger some sort of crazy emotion, and we get stuck in our head, and we can't get out of it. And the thing is you can get out of it, but it takes practice. It takes learning how to do that. Okay, and thank you, Martha. Martha said she's grateful for me. Well, I'm grateful for you. I am grateful that all of you are out there, and that you show up. I mean, it's just awesome. I'm grateful. Thank you. But we're all guilty of this. We all get caught up in life. We get rushing. We set these expectations for ourselves, and when it doesn't go the way that we've planned it in our head, we beat ourselves up. And fortunately, when you beat yourself up, you bring others down. And when you bring others down, you're spreading that negative energy everywhere else. And the thing is energy passes from person to person. And you'll see it. You walk into a room with a bunch of people that have a positive energy and you have a great time. You walk into a room with a bunch of people who don't, you don't have a great time. And the thing is we have the ability not only to lift ourselves up and to give ourselves a more positive outlook on life, but we have the ability to lift others up. And that's a very, very, very powerful thing. If you know how to do that, you not only benefit your life, but all of the people around you. And I think that is very an important skill to have. I'm guilty of this myself. I mean, there's some days where I'm just kind of down on myself and I'm like, I should be happy because, I have a husband and I have kids and I have a job and I do what I love, but I still beat myself up. But it's not just about that, guys. This isn't about material things. This isn't about being grateful for the big things in your life. This is about being grateful for the little things. The little things that just pass right by you that you don't even think about. And we're going to talk about those. Because what do I mean by that? What do you mean, Dr. Pingel? I'm going to tell you. So these are the things we want to talk about today. I like to take the time to educate you guys on more than just health conditions. We've done 2 big things this week. We've talked about DHEA, which is a huge one, and we've talked about eating as a coping mechanism. And today we're going to talk a little bit more about that mind-body connection, which is very, very important and probably one of the most important things right now, in the times we're in right now. We have an opportunity. And I see 2 different fields of thought right now, just from the people that I talk to. I've got the people that say, well, this kind of sucks, but previously I never had time to work out. Now I do, so I'm going to. Or I never had time to really focus on my diet or work on my mind-body connection or practice yoga, but now I do. So I'm going to use this time to my advantage. And I have other people who are just like, this sucks, life sucks, I'm going to give up, forget it, I'm not going to do anything, I'm just going to wallow in it. And you see these 2 thoughts, and there's not a lot of people in the middle. It's kind of like one or the other. So I want to encourage you guys to look at the positive of every situation. It's not always easy, and it takes skill. And right now is a really trying time. Okay, so I thought this might be, actually it wasn't my idea. My friend said this would be a good time to talk about gratitude, and she's right. Okay, because practicing gratitude benefits more than just you. It benefits everybody in your path. And that's something really, really important, and something that our world needs more than anything right now is a little love and positivity. I see a lot of comments over there. I'm reading them. I'm getting there. All right. So there's actually, by the way, if you hear Piggy in the background, she is chasing her ball and she's on fire this morning, okay? So there is actually a field of psychology known as positive psychology. And what that focuses on is positive emotions and personal strength. So researchers in this field have discovered that finding the meaning of life is important to achieving great life satisfaction. So taking the time to be aware of what's good in your life, what gives you a greater sense of connection and meaning, is one of the biggest benefits of gratitude. Bridget just said Piggy has lots of gratitude. Yeah, she's loving that ball. You know what I love about animals and about dogs and even about children is they live in the moment, right? They live right now, and I love it. They don't remember what happened 5 minutes ago. They don't know what's going to happen next. They just live in it. And yeah, she is having a grand old time. Oh, now she has the donut. Go get it, Piggy. Good morning. Yeah, Tricia over there, you're grateful but get so depressed with all of this. Right, we're going to talk about that. How can we get out of that? How can we get ourselves out of it? Because the bottom line is we have to. This is an opportunity. This is a cleansing time in our world. I'm fully convinced this is a time that people are either going to rise up and survive or they're going to give in and they're not. And I think we just have to come together. We have to learn from each other here. So, and there is a huge discipline, as I was talking about, in psychology that actually studies this and looks at the benefits of gratitude. Okay? So, once a negative process starts in your brain, and I know you guys can relate, right? Once it gets in there and it's just ticking at you, it's almost impossible to break it. It feels almost impossible. Just like, I can't get out of this. I'm just going down a rabbit hole, right? So finding the positive things to consider is sometimes really difficult in that moment, right? It takes training. Just as training for a marathon takes physical training, training for gratitude, acceptance, love, growth takes work. And sometimes when we're depressed, we're not willing to put that work in. And I get that. But I'm hoping that this opportunity out there, and I call this pandemic an opportunity because it is, guys. It's an opportunity to grow. It's an opportunity to find your weaknesses and grow on them. I know I found them. I found my insecurities through this time, the ones that I thought I wasn't really paying attention to. I've been able to find it and grow from it. And I think that's a very, very important thing to do. So there was this will be well worth it. It takes practice, and it's only a few minutes a day. And the more that you do it, the better you get at it, okay? So there was a study published in Greater Good magazine that found that practicing gratitude can cause remarkable improvements in your well-being and your health. They found that daily gratitude practice helped the participants focus more on positive emotions rather than dwelling on disappointing events and negative emotions. Okay, it also found that they had an increase in sensitivity and attentiveness to showing gratitude. So once you start practicing this, you start practicing it more innately. It just comes to you. And that's when you can practice gratitude innately, you spread that gratitude to others. And that's where you change the world. I mean, that's where you improve the health of everyone around you, including yourself. You know, if you take a supplement or you change your diet or you do an exercise program, you definitely improve your own health, not always other people's health. But when you practice gratitude and you combine that gratitude with those measures, not only do you improve your health, but you improve and inspire everyone else around you to improve their health. And that is a very, very powerful thing that literally costs nothing. Not a dime. You don't have to have money to practice gratitude. You don't have to go to the doctor to practice gratitude. You can do it on your own, wherever you are, in any place, anywhere in the world. That is a powerful thing to learn how to do. Okay? And it has been clinically shown to not only improve your mental health, but also improve your physical health. Okay? Because guess what? Mind and body connected, right? So, now, the science of gratitude does not mean to walk around with rose-colored glasses on and smile and fake your way through it. That is not what this means. And I think a lot of people I practice gratitude. I smile at people all day long. Okay, but do you? You might be smiling on the outside. Are you smiling on the inside? Are you beating yourself up on the inside? Are you worrying about what they're thinking? Are you smiling because you think they want you to? Or are you smiling because you truly 100% are grateful for running into that person? So think about those types of interactions. So I want to talk about some 5 simple gratitude practices. Are you guys with me today? Is this topic a good one? Was my friend right? Is this needed? Give me some hearts, some thumbs ups, something. This is a bit more of a psychology topic, but it is relevant. I think. Yes, I beat myself up all the time. Yep. I know, Tricia, same name. I've been guilty of that throughout my entire life. But you know what? I get better and better about it. And I worry less and less about people that do not lift me up. If someone in my life lifts me up, I do think about them. I do worry about them. I do put positive energy toward them. But if I'm in a room with somebody or I have somebody that's repetitively brings me down, I really don't care anymore. Like whether not that I don't care, can't put my energy into making them like me or making them approve of me. I just don't have time for it. Carrie says, I think your friend was spot on. And funny thing is, it was Carrie. Calling you out, Carrie. All right. So thank you for the, confirmation here. It is tiring. It's tiring to lift other people's up if they're not willing to be lifted up. But I'll tell you, if you lift yourself up and you spread that positivity, the people that have that in them will lift you up. And you will all lift each other up. And it will result in positivity every single time. So if you're really struggling to lift someone up or they're not reciprocating it, I'm sorry. It's just, we have an opportunity. There's always a point where it may come back. Whoever that person may grow in their own way and come back and lift you up again and you lift them up and then it works. But if it doesn't work in that moment, then you got to let go, right? We can't worry about other people. But I want to talk about things that you can do to start practicing gratitude. And I also want to start with the common things we do that get us in that negative loop. So I want you to recognize this. I want you to take some self-reflection today on if you do any of these things, okay? First of all, something called reframing. Reframe your thinking. I practice this on a daily basis. This is something I talk about with you guys a lot because the thing is you could have a negative thing happen, what's perceived negative. It's not always negative, guys. In fact, I don't believe there's ever anything negative. I think it's, sometimes disheartening. or a little bit of a hit, or just kind of like, oh, wasn't what was expected. But it's never negative because it always opens a door to something else. And I firmly 100% believe in that. And your mind and body are connected. So your thoughts influence your feelings, right? And we're going to talk about how they do that. So because we share this energy with people, we tend to share these habits with people too. So I'm going to talk about the 4 types of negative thinking or self-talk that you may find yourself engaging in. So you got to be honest here, okay? 4 of them. There's, I never say it right, catastrophizing, filtering, personalizing, and polarizing. So there's 4 of them. So catastrophe. This type of negative thinking, you always think the worst. Always. You expect the worst is going to happen. I am seeing this right now in our world more than anything. How many of you are scared to death of getting COVID? You think the worst. You've got to be that 1% to 2%, right? You couldn't possibly be the 98%, right? How many of you, right? I mean, thank you, Robert. I see it over there. Thank you. Right? We automatically go down the thing. It could be even simpler than that. It doesn't have to be as big as the pandemic, but this is what I'm seeing, right? We're focusing on the small percentage of negative and not focusing on the positive. Did you guys know there was a stat today? I'm going to share it with you. It's almost 1.3 million people. It's something like 1.28 million people have survived COVID 100% at this point. There's a positive stat for you today, guys. Well over 1 million people. Okay? Just something to focus on. Now you can take that and you can make it the glass half empty and you can focus on the people that are recovered, that are struggling if you want. But you have a choice, right? So I do this in little things too. So here's a good personal example is my kids play football. Now I'm the mom of boys. I did not expect I would have boys, and football was the last thing I wanted them to play. I just was like, nope, I'm a doctor. I know what's going to happen. This is awful. They're going to break their leg. They're going to get concussions. This is going to be horrible. But here's the thing. My kids love playing football. I have never seen so much joy in their faces, in their bodies when they play football. I mean, they love it. And I could sit there and I could worry the entire time. And when they first started playing, I did. I'd sit on the sidelines and I'd be like, oh God, oh my God, I don't want to look. And then I realized I'm missing that moment. I missed that moment of their joy. I missed of seeing the gratitude that they had for playing football. And then I have to think, you know what? My kids have legs. They can run. They're seeing joy. They're interacting with other kids. There's a lot of joy in this situation. Why am I worrying about an injury before it happens? I can't. There's really no control that I have over it. If you think you have control over something, you are wrong. You don't. Now, you can plan things. You can worry about them. You can be like, okay, well, what if he fell? What hospital would I go to? But how much energy are you wasting? What if he doesn't fall? What are you going to miss in that moment, right? So that's a small example of little ways that you can actually reverse and reframe that thinking. So instead of saying, oh my God, he's going to break his leg, you could say, all right, he just played a game and didn't break anything. That's great. Look how much fun he had. Look, I enjoyed it. I screamed for him. I cheered him on, right? And yes, my kids have fallen. They've sprained their ankles. My son was on crutches a little bit. And you know what? I was okay with it. I was like, you know what? This is an experience. He has to learn. He has to grow from failure and falling and injuries as well. We all did, right? So it's a waste of energy to worry. There's really no point, right? You do everything you can to you do everything you can to make them safe. You teach them how to run, you give them proper shoes, you educate them on how to hit each other or what to do, right? When it comes to the illness, the pandemic, right? We can improve our nutrition, we can start to exercise. We know that obesity is linked to it. We know that diabetes is linked to it, to worsening outcomes. We know that. So let's take this opportunity to reverse our risk, right? And then we just have to trust, right? A good example you're getting through to me. All right, Martha, I like it. Yeah, so now I go to the football games and the basketball games and I just try to breathe and enjoy the moment and watch the joy in my kids' faces. And as much as there might have been a fear there, I'm trying to let that go because I have no control over whether they get injured or not. Right? You have no control over where you get this virus either. You really have no control over it. You can do your best, but you don't have any control, right? And there's many things in life like that. So catastrophizing is probably the one that I see most people do. And it's what I see my patients worry about too, Oh, I didn't take that today. Oh my God, is my health going to go downhill? But no, it's not. You just every day, you focus on the now and you keep moving forward. The second one, filtering, is looking at exactly what I talked about earlier, the 1% to 2%, and focusing on that rather than focusing on the 98%. So it's looking at when you look at things that you've accomplished, right? You focusing on the one thing you did wrong, right? The perceived flaw that you have. You see this in women all the time. And I'm going to assume in some men, but the women that I've talked about, you're a beautiful woman. I mean, I don't have the prettiest feet. I could sit there all day and focus on my feet. I have a great pedicurist, so they look as pretty as they possibly could be, but they're not the most beautiful feet in the world. I could sit there all day and knock myself on my feet. But there's a lot of other wonderful things about me that I need to recognize. So I think we do that. Or maybe you get complimented on a job or an accomplishment, but then one person says something negative and it ruins your whole day. I see this in social media. Hey guys, I have a lot of followers, right? Especially in the Facebook arena. And I get bad comments every so often. They're hardly ever, they're little, they're not as much. But when I get them, I really have to put up a wall saying, look, that's one person's negative energy. That has nothing to do with me. I'm sorry they didn't relate to me. I'm sorry they didn't like what I had to say, but I have absolutely no control over what they do, right? All I can do is look at the things that lift me up, and that's what I do. I don't comment on people who don't lift me up. If you guys put a comment, I try to answer every single one if I can. I try. Sometimes I miss them. I got to be honest. Sometimes they fly too fast. But I'm not going to comment on a negative one. What's the point, right? So we do this. Social media is hurting us in this way, and it's hurting our younger generations, right? Because things can be misunderstood, right? And that moves into number 3, which is personalizing. So when you're seeing this in text, you could take it 1,000 different ways. So somebody could disagree with you and you take it personally. Whereas in person, I bet you could have the exact same conversation, same words, and you may not take it personally. So we need to look at this when it comes to texting, social media, email, the way that all of us are communicating nowadays in this. I know we're not in lockdown, but we're in more isolated states. Our lives have changed and we're spending more time with technology, and technology is easily to personalize. You could post something and somebody makes a comment and you're like, ow, God, how rude. And they didn't mean anything like that, right? So personalizing is something we do. If you go into a grocery store and your checker isn't friendly with you and you're like, God, what did I do to them? I can guarantee you did nothing. It was their day. They had a bad day. They had something going on. Be grateful, right? That you had an interaction with someone. Maybe your smile and your reaction to them when they were rude to you, when you smiled back, maybe that lifted their day. So be part of the positive solution. Don't be part of the negative solution is my point. Don't make it personal. We can't control what other people feel. Excuse me. Too much coffee today. It's getting in my throat. We can only control what we feel. So personalizing is a big one. How many of you guys personalize stuff like that? Right? Let's say you call your friend, you're in the mood to chat, and they're just kind of like, they're just not in the mood because they're dealing with something else. And you're like, God, what did I do? And you take it all personal. Don't take it personally. Let it go. It's out of your control. The last thing is polarizing. Now, if this doesn't relate to today's times, polarizing, black and white thinking, no in between. You either like this or this. You see this in the politics debate all the time. You either support this person or this person. There's no way that anyone's in the middle. So anyone in the middle, you fall into one of these two categories. And if you don't fall into the category that I like, you're out. Yikes, people. Whoa, why are we doing this to each other? Why? We're killing ourselves, right? There are so many places in between, right? I'm an integrative physician. I see the value in conventional style medicine, Western medicine. I also see the value in Eastern medicine. And I think every situation requires a blending of it, right? We are all different. We're different in every single way, okay? Every way. There are no two people that are 100% the same. Nowhere. So let's stop grouping us as the same. We are all different. Why is that bad? Let's love each other. Let's learn from each other. Let's find a common ground. But what we do is we get in this polarized thinking, and the only thing it does is bring you down, and it brings others down. And to be honest, I'm really tired of it. Like, I'm really tired of watching, and these are people, I don't contribute. I just sit back. I mean, but you can't help see it in feeds. You can't help see it in people. I'm watching more anxiety and more depression. That's what polarizing does. So polarizing can cause a lot of anxiety, over thinking about things, obsessive compulsive tendencies, and what it does is, as we talked about before, it can affect the brain. So it affects the amygdala, which affects the prefrontal cortex, which changes the way that you interpret information. So you end up going down a rabbit hole. There is no way to go down a rabbit hole any faster than polarizing, even more than the other ones we've talked about. Those ones are more self, but this one impacts everybody around you, okay? So if you catch yourself going down this rabbit hole of black or white thinking, or just two different sides, like there's no gray, there's no in between, it's one or the other. If you find yourself in that scenario, you need to stop and say, wait a minute, could there be a middle ground here? Maybe I should consider other viewpoints and just listen. Just listen. You don't have to respond, just listen. And how can you bring other people up with that? Is your thinking bringing others down? Is it perpetuating this? That is a very big self-reflection. A lot of people cannot do that at first. You have to work often through the catastrophe thinking, the filtering, the personalizing, because what does taking something personally lead to? Polarizing, right? Because you take everyone's opinions personally. So these all work together. So that is how we get stuck. Now, how many of you honestly find yourselves doing one or many of those things? I'm guilty of it too. There's times I definitely do, and I'm very fortunate and I'm grateful for the people around me because they call me out. They're like, hey, chill out. I love you, but you need to back up from this a little bit. Let's back up. Let's think about the positive. Let's turn this in some way. And I'm very grateful for those people in my life because they keep me grounded. They keep me whole. It's very easy to let other people take you away. Okay, so that comes down to the actual practice of gratitude. Now, there's a suggestion. A lot of people suggest writing, gratitude writing. You don't have to write. I'm not someone who likes to write down my gratitude. I like to say it verbally. I seem to get more impact from that. It doesn't really matter. But doing this every day, taking a moment to recognize what you're grateful for. Now, once again, this does not have to be the big things. It shouldn't be the big things. It's good to say, yes, I'm glad I have a job, or I have a home, or I have a spouse, or I have kids, I have good friends. Those are all things to definitely be grateful for. But something like, I'm really grateful that I exchanged a smile or a comment with someone I didn't know today. In fact, I wrote the article on this right before the pandemic. So we were out and about, and I had gone to a coffee shop for a meeting with someone I was looking to, kind of collaborate with and do stuff with. And we were sitting there having coffee, and at the table next to us were these two gentlemen, these elderly gentlemen, retired, and it was pretty early in the morning. I think it was like 8 a.m. in the morning, and they were sitting there and they were having coffee and they were just talking. And I got up for something, maybe to go get a refill or something, and one of the gentlemen stopped me and he said, well, hello. And I said, well, hello. And we got into this chit chat. And he acknowledged what a beautiful day it was and how the weather was so beautiful and how it was just to be sitting out there meeting new people. We had small talk. We had this great positive energy. Asked me what I did. I asked him what he did. And, when I got home, and I found myself happy for the rest of the day. And when I got home, one of the things on my gratitude list was him. How nice was it to have some random stranger just say, hey, isn't this a beautiful day today? And make me acknowledge the beauty. And that is a very powerful thing. And that's something that may be on your gratitude list. I really appreciated that a person, waved at me today or stood back while I picked my milk. I don't know, like sometimes people get in your grill right now with the pandemic, but I stand back and wait for the person to finish in the grocery store and then walk up and get my thing. Hopefully people are grateful for that I acknowledged their space, but little things. It's just little things. Little tiny things, you know? And you can do this with a list. You can do this verbally. And a really good suggestion I had from someone was to use on your phone, this is a benefit of technology, use your memos, your voice memos, and record voice memo gratitudes. And then when you're in a bad mood, play them back. Listen to yourself acknowledging the gratitude in your life. Listen to this. Expressing your gratitude can not only lower your stress and improve your life, but it boosts someone else's happiness. Makes you feel good, makes them feel good. And I think all of us like to feel good. All of us like to feel lifted up and supported. And as I've said before, fear and anger come from a lack of certainty, a lack of support, feeling uncertain about life, feeling insecure. So if you're having those emotions, you need to give that love to other people and they will return it. We are energetic beings. The more people you smile at, the more people you give graciousness to, the more people you acknowledge, the more they will acknowledge you back. And from that, you find your tribe, you find your people, you find the people that truly 100% believe in you and you believe in them. Robert's saying music helps enormously. 100%. As many of you may know by now, my dad was a musician. My children, my youngest is a drummer and a pianist, and I love to play music, and I love to sing, and I love to dance. I'm a dancer. So music for me, I give a lot of gratitude for that, not only for listening to the music and the art, but also for the way that my body can move. I don't normally take hip hop classes. I haven't been because of everything going on. I'm hoping at some point I can get back to it, because just coming home and being like, wow, I kept up with that. Like, wow, I'm so grateful for my body. How did it do that? Like, how did I pick that up? Like, out of nowhere. Those are little things. Tap dancing. Oh, tap dancing's fun. I like tap dancing. I'm more of a hip hop dancer, but I totally would take a tap dance class. Okay, I'm getting low on time. I'm just enjoying your energy. Thank you for the positive energy, guys. You guys are giving it right back to me, and I love you for it. Thank you. I am so grateful for you. So, spend time with people you love is number 3. Very, very important. Goes back to this point. Spend time with people that lift you up, and you lift them up, and they lift you up, and you will all lift each other up together. Okay? That is one of the best ways. And one thing to always ask yourself, and I say this to my kids all the time too, because they're trying to navigate friendships and figure out who's who. Does this person lift you up or bring you down? Ask that. If you're finding that you're constantly being brought down, you don't have to give up on the friendship. It depends on how you angle it. You know, I don't give up on friendships. I figure, okay, they've got stuff going on, I've got stuff going on, we're not lining up right now, but at some point we might, right? So trying to spread positivity their way and seeing if they reciprocate it, often you both can learn and grow from that. It doesn't mean it has to end. Sometimes you can't save it. You know what I mean? But don't let it bring you down. Practice mindfulness. Mindfulness, one, is the gratitude writing. It's also just spending time to breathe. Taking time to just be with yourself, being in the now. If you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling fearful, if you're feeling isolated from things you're reading or people you're talking to, you need to change your location. You need to get out. You need to go do something else. You need to focus on something that is positive. That is mindfulness. You can use your eyes to smile behind the COVID mask. You can. Right? Don't do this. Do this. Reach out. Lastly, reach out. If you're feeling down, you're feeling run down, you're feeling like you need lifting up, reach out to the people that you have determined fulfill your life. And there are a lot of them out there. And it doesn't have to be someone close to you. Like I said, I enjoy talking to people that I don't know. I go to the coffee shop, or normally I would go to a coffee shop and strike up a conversation with someone that's just sitting there that's doing something interesting, because I always feel that I can learn from you, you can learn from me. There's an exchange of energy. I'm a 100% believer in that. Even you guys through a screen, I don't know what you look like. I don't know where you live. I don't know you guys personally, but I know your energy, and your energy is awesome, and I love it. And it lifts me up, and hopefully I lift you up because of that. And that's important. So think about that today. When you head out into the world, Think about what lifts you up and think about how you can lift someone else up today. Call people that you haven't talked to in a while. Remind them that you appreciate them. Remind yourself that you appreciate yourself. Self-love is the beginning of this process. You have to love yourself. Stop getting caught in that negativity. You don't have control over what happens in the future. You have zero control. You can plan it, but definitely don't plan on it going perfectly. Well, if you plan on stuff going perfectly, it will not work. So I've met the most amazing people at coffee shops too, to be honest, Andrea. It's unbelievable. I've met some of the coolest people. When I was writing my book, side note, when I was writing my book back in 2013, I used to go sit at a local coffee shop here, Lucy's, and I would write my book. And there was this another older gentleman couple that would come in and have coffee together at this particular place, and he is an archaeologist. And I would kind of overhear their conversations of them talking about fossils that they had found in their careers and things like that. It was pretty cool. And at one point, I couldn't think of what I wanted to write, and I looked over and I said, wow, I'm sorry to interrupt, but your conversation is fascinating. And it's so amazing. And we chatted for a little bit, and then he said, well, are you here a lot? And I said, well, I'm here every Friday writing, I'm writing a book. And he kind of, and the next Friday, he showed up and he brought me a shark tooth and gave it to me and said, this is a shark tooth that I found in a fossil. And he told me where he got it. And he said, I thought maybe your kids would be interested in it. And I didn't know this guy, and he must have been, I'm going to guess he was in his 80s, kind, gentle man who shared a shark tooth with me that he found from his collection, and I thought that was lovely. And I remember that, and I still have it. And it's in one of my little memento boxes, and I love it. So, there's little things that you can do for other people, okay? Thank you, Bridget. I'd be a great neighbor to have. Thank you. I have the most amazing neighbors. I don't think I'll ever move. If you guys are listening today, thank you to you. Anyway, I've gone on long enough. I've drawn on long enough about this, but I hope that you guys all walk away today with some sort of gratitude for yourselves and for others. And just remember, there's always a 99th percentile versus a 1 percentile. Pay attention to the glass being half full and not half empty. It just does not help you in the end. Have an absolutely wonderful day, guys. Have a grateful day, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye now.